Volume data 2.1. We're gonna put Wikipedia on a Synology NAS and on an Ubuntu server. First off, big shout out to Tech Hut. His video called "Self-Host the Internet Before It's Too Late" actually really helped me out a lot to figure out that this was possible at all to self-host Wikipedia. I kind of knew that you could, but that gave me the direction that I needed. So we're gonna start by going to Kiwix.org, and they have a section here called Downloads, and you're gonna click Library. And that is going to take you here where you can figure out what you want to download. And there is a ton of stuff here. So I'm going to go to all categories and go Wikipedia. If you want to download the entirety of Wikipedia, it is right here. For the sake of this tutorial, you might want to download something like Nollywood, which is the Encyclopedia of Nigerian Cinema, and that is because it is only 18.06 megabytes, a little bit shorter. I actually went ahead and downloaded the Wikipedia Top 100, so I'm going to use that as an example. If you want the entire thing, though, it's 109 gigabytes. If you want to preview any of these, just click inside the square. Do not click download. Just click inside the square, and you will be able to preview what you're going to download. So you can Wikipedia anything. If the entire world fell apart, you could type in like Mortal Kombat. And yeah, you can see I've already clicked on it because I need to prepare for that. And you've got everything that you need here on Mortal Kombat if the internet ever goes down and there is some sort of, I don't know, Fallout version of the future and you have nothing left. So we will just click on download whichever one you want, and we're going to go back to Kiwix. We'll go to downloads, all apps, because now we're going to download the server. So we're going to all apps, and we'll scroll down to where it says something about servers, Kiwix server, and then we want Docker images. So scroll down to where it says Kiwix server, and then click on Docker images. I apologize, this is a little confusing on how to get from point A to point B. I basically just need a file called dockercompose.yml or something of that sort. And the way that I figured out that they have it organized is I will click on Kiwix Serve here, and then Kiwix Tools up here, and they have a folder dedicated to Docker Compose section. No, that doesn't say that. It says dedicated Docker Compose section. I added in a word. We'll click Docker and then Server, and we can see that we've got this dockercompose.yml.example file. I will click on that, and this is all that we need. So this is just text that tells the program Docker how to run Kiwix, our Kiwix server. If that's confusing to you, that's fine. It's probably a little confusing, very technical stuff. So I'm just going to copy all of this. I can click this copy icon, or you can just highlight everything and copy it, and let's head over to the Synology server. In here, we're going to open up Container Manager, which, if you don't have, just click on the Package Center and then type in Container Manager pretty much, and it will show up and you can install it. If it's not showing up for you, that means Container Manager is not officially supported for your model of Synology NAS, but maybe look around. There's a chance you can still get Container Manager on there. I'm going to click on File Station. You should have a folder called Docker, a share folder. I'm going to click in here and I'm going to delete this. We are going to make a Kiwix folder. So I'm going to type in, I'm going to create a new folder, call it Kiwix, if I can spell, and we're good. We've got a folder. This is where we're going to have all of our files. So let's go back to Container Manager. We're going to click Project, Create. You can probably I already have a project named Kiwix, so I'm going to call mine Wiki, but you can name yours Kiwix, might be a little bit easier, or you can call it Wiki. Call it whatever you want. For path, we're going to set path to that folder we just made, so that's going to be under Docker and then Kiwix. I'll hit select, and then under source, we are going to create a dockercompose.yml file, and we're just going to paste in all of that big text blurb that we copied from Kiwix's GitHub. So just this guy right here, we're going to paste that into this section, and we need to make a couple of modifications. First off, ports. I will describe this here in a minute when we launch, but this is how we're going to access Kiwix. So for example, I access my Synology NAS by going to this IP address. This first number here is going to tell my browser what program to go to on my Synology NAS. So if I want Kiwix to be, accessed on port 7000, then I could just change this first number to 7000. And that's what I'm going to do. Ignore this second number. That's for the Docker container. That's not for you. You don't touch that number. This first number though, let's go ahead and change it. The reason I like to change it is because 8080 is pretty common. So if you're already running a couple of programs, there might be a program that already has 8080. There's a decent chance that there is one. So let's go ahead and change that. 7000 is probably going to be safe. We've got some instructions here that we need to uncomment the next 4 lines to use it with a local Zim file. So that file that we downloaded, let's grab that guy. These Zim files, that is what contains all the Wikipedia articles. Let's go ahead and open that up in a folder. I can see that I've got it here. And let's put it on our Synology NAS. So, sorry, I'm making a mess here. Let's go back to File Station. We'll go to Docker, our Kiwix folder, And in here, I'm going to create a new folder called Zim. And then I will go in here and I'm just going to drag this Zim file so it uploads into this folder. I'm going to overwrite because I don't have anything in here, so there's nothing to overwrite. That's going to take a couple seconds and it's already in here. All right, so we've got our Zim file. We want to copy the location of this folder. So I'm going to back out one and I'm going to right click on my Zim folder, properties, and I'm just going to copy this location. Now, back in Container Manager, we need to follow these instructions. So one, uncomment volumes. So you're just going to backspace twice, backspace twice, backspace twice, and backspace twice. I feel like I said that wrong. Backspace twice. Yeah, that's right. We've got all those things uncommented. And then for volumes, we just need to change this part here before the colon. After the colon, again, guys, don't worry about it. That is for Docker. Do not worry about it. But before this colon, we want to paste in the location of our Zim files. So basically what this is doing is once this Docker container launches, it is going to look on our Synology NAS in this folder for Zim files, and it will launch them. What this command does with this *zim, I'm not 100% sure, but I think what it does is it says, hey, search for any file with a .zim extension. And the asterisk is just like search for anything. You could specify it, I think, if you only wanted to look for one, but let's keep things simple. But this is all that we need to do. This should launch up our Kiwik server, and we can access it by going to port 7000. So you probably can't see it. Can I scoot you up here? We're going to click Next. And then next, I'm not going to check that. Start the project once it is created. Click Done. And then this should download everything that we need. Exit code 0 is good. That means that it has launched. It might not be that quick for you because you probably have to download a couple things. I already had them downloaded. But I'm going to close out of here. They'll download automatically, so you didn't miss anything. Just your time. And then let's go ahead and go to this address, the 7000. Now, this is going to fail. I'm going to open this up in a new window. This is going to fail because I have HTTPS. So I need to get rid of that S. And here we go. We've got Wikipedia going. I can click on here, and I've got a self-hosted Wikipedia. I can learn every single thing that I need to know about animals. Do you know that animals are part of the clade Obazao? If you are wondering how I got here, because you might have a little bit of, you might wonder how am I able to access this? You should be able to access, however you're accessing your Synology NAS, put a :7000 after it. That should be good. Or whatever IP, whatever port number you put in that Docker Compose section. That is how you should be able to get there. So if you happen to use a different thing, like maybe it's just like, I don't know, mynas.local is how you're accessing this. All you have to do is put :7000 after that, and it should take you to your correct, to your Kiwik instance. And then just make sure that you get rid of that S. Make sure that it is HTTP and not HTTPS, and it will take you there. And there you go. That was pretty quick. Let's go ahead and do this on an Ubuntu server. This is a little different, not necessarily more time-consuming. I'm going to clear this out. Okay, so I'm running this as root. I don't want to run this as root. I'm going to pretend that this is a brand new server. You've just logged in. I'm using, let me type in NeoFetch. That will not work for you. If you want to use NeoFetch, just type in sudo apt install NeoFetch, and then it will install. And then you just type in NeoFetch, and you'll get a cool little screen like this. That's how you get this. Not important, though. All that you need to know is that this is the version of Ubuntu that I'm running, 24.04. Otherwise, some commands may or may not work. I can't guarantee what's going to work. But first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to assume that you're on a brand new Ubuntu install. I'm going to create a user, just good practice. You don't have to. You can do all of this as root as you want, and then you don't have to type in sudo, which I don't know if it's pronounced sudo or sudo or what. But let's make a new user. So I'm just here on the official documentation for Ubuntu right here, documentation.ubuntu.com. So I'm going to copy this command here to add a user. I don't need animals. Sudo add, and then instead of username, I'm going to type in Kano. That's going to be our user. And then for Kano's password, I'm going to type in something secure. I'm not going to type in anything here. Yes, that information is correct. I'll just type in a Y when it asks me that information. And I now have a user named Kano, but there is an issue. I want Kano to be an administrator. So, you know, if you set up a Windows PC or a Mac computer for the first time, you get an administrative password for your user, right? That way you can install programs. We want that same thing here because right now Kano is just a bum. He can't do anything. He can run his programs, but he doesn't have access. He cannot install programs or rewrite permissions or anything like that. So let's give him sudo access. We'll go back to the documentation, and we just need to add him to a group. So add user to a group, we're going to copy this command here, sudo add user, and then the name, and then the group name. So sudo add user, and the user's name is Kano, and we're going to add him to the group sudo. Kano is now an administrator on the system, and he can install programs and do what he needs. And I'm going to type in su Kano, and guess who I am? I am now Kano. I'm going to type in cd space tilde, so I'm in Kano's home folder. Kano, he's not allowed to peruse around the root folder. Again, you don't have to do that. You can run everything as root. This will be pretty much the same. But for those of you who are interested in a little bit of a better security practice, go ahead and create a user. So we've got Kano. First thing we need to do is install Docker. Very simple. Just go to, I'll start from the beginning. Just go to docker.com. Boy, you've got a lot of stuff on here, Docker. That took forever. We'll go to docs. And then I think it's under manuals. Yeah, manuals. We want Docker Engine, install, and then we're running Ubuntu. So we'll click here. If you're running Debian, it is a little bit different. If you're just running straight Debian, I know Ubuntu is Debian based, but if you're running Debian, the instructions are a little bit different, as well as other versions of Linux. So we're going to scroll down to where it says installation, install using the app repository. That's what we're going to do. So we'll set this up. We're going to copy this blurb here where it says set up Docker's app repository. Paste that in. And then we need Kano's password because he's an administrator now, so we can do this. If you're root, it's probably not going to ask you for a password. Next step is to install the packages. So this will install the actual Docker programs. Installed. And then third, we need to verify the installation is successful by running hello world. And look at that. We are successed because it says, hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. Little thing that I do like to do, though, is go to the post-installation steps. So we'll go all the way to the bottom. We're going to skip all of this. Assume that it's unimportant. Post-installation steps, and we want to manage Docker as a non-root user. I don't think that this will run as a non-root user. I think it will run as root, but you should just do this anyways because it takes 10 seconds. So under here, the very first steps, create a Docker group. You don't have to do this because it's probably already been created for you. But step number 2, we want to add Kano to the Docker group. So we'll copy this command here and we can paste it in. You don't have to change anything. This part here where it says $user means whoever the current user is. And right now we are currently logged in as Kano, which we can see. Oh God, what happened to my mouse? Right here on the left, we can see that we're logged in as Kano. So I'm going to do that. Kano is now part of this group, but that will not work because we need to restart him. So we're going to type in this command here, new group Docker. So new grp Docker. And now Kano is part of the Docker group. So I can just type this command in here, Docker run hello world, and it should work. It works and we're good. Before, I don't know if you noticed, it actually was sudo, whatever the last command, sudo run hello world was what we had to type in before, but we can now do that without using sudo. Boy, that is a lot of stuff here. Let's type in cd space tilde. That brings us to Kano's home folder. If we type in ls, it'll show us everything that's in there. And right now, there's nothing. Let's make a folder. Make directory. I'm going to call this folder app data. And we're going to go into the app data folder by typing in cd space app data. CD is just short for change directory. We're in the app data folder. This is where I would be putting my Docker containers. So if you're going to put a lot of Docker containers in an Ubuntu server, this is one way of doing it. Not saying it's the right way. This is just how I do it. We're going to make a new directory called Kiwix, and I'm going to go into that Kiwix. Actually, check this out. Type in ls. You can see that there's a Kiwix folder in here. You can type in ls-l, and you can see it as a list. And I can see that it is owned by Kano and the group Docker. Interesting. Let's go into Kiwix. Okay. Type in ID here. I can see that Kano. Okay, I can see all of Kano's ID's number. Kano is user 1001 and group 1001. Interesting. Okay, we're in the Kiwix folder. We want to make that Docker compose. We want to do two things, actually. One, we need to make a directory called Zim, because that's where we're going to keep our Zim file. So let's go ahead and download that. CD Zim. We're going to use a command called wget, which if it tells you, depending on how you installed Ubuntu, maybe it says you don't have wget, just type in sudo apt install wget, and then it will install, hopefully. You have to have apt installed. That's a whole other thing if you don't have that. You're too advanced for me. You should have stuck with Ubuntu like I did it. Or you're better than me and you're using straight up Debian. You probably already know what you're doing. So let's grab that Zim file. We'll go back to the Kiwix library, and then I will click on download. And then where it says direct, I'm going to right click and then just copy that link. We'll go back in here and type in wget, paste in that link, and it will download that zim file, which will take a minute because I chose a very big one. Poor decision making by me. I'm going to do a smaller one real quick. Let's go back and download the Nollywood. That'll be a lot shorter. Click, right click, copy link. Back here, wget. I'm going to paste. Oh no, I did that wrong. Wget. There we go. Much faster. That'll make this tutorial go by so much quicker, and I can learn a lot about Nigerian cinema. Type in ls. I can see that that file is in here. I'm going to remove my one that did not download. I'm going to type in rm space, and then I'm just going to copy the name of that guy. And now if I type in ls, you can see it's gone. It's just my Nollywood folder. So now I need to go back to my Kiwix folder, so I'm going to type in cd space period. And you can see that it brought me back one folder. How cool is that? If I type in cd space period, you can tell it didn't go anywhere, and that's because that period is shorthand for the folder that I'm already in. All right, let's type in nano space compose.yaml. You can also just type in .yaml, or you can do docker compose.yaml. A lot of ways to do this. On Docker's official documentation right now, it seems that they are mostly using this naming, so that's why I always do it. Plus, it's a little bit shorter than docker hyphen. But add in that extra A, I don't know why I do it. Back in here, we just want that Docker Compose file. So if you've got this guy open, we're going to copy the raw file. Oh man, I forgot. If you just skipped ahead, you have no idea what I'm doing here, do you? Go back and watch the Synology part of this, and you can see how I got here. But this is the URL to get to the Compose file. You would just go to Kiwix's site, go to Downloads, All Apps. Oh my goodness. All Apps, holy, bleh, okay. And then let's go to, we just need the server. Scroll down to Docker images. You'll be in here. Click on Kiwix Serve, Kiwix Tools, and then Docker Server, and then Docker Compose.yaml.example. And then you have all this text, and you would just copy this text. That's pretty important to what we're going to do. To get to the library, you just go to kiwix.org, downloads, library, and then this is where you can download everything that you want. If you want to preview it, just click anywhere in the square and you can see what you're going to download. You can rummage through it, or just click on download and then you can download what you need. Sorry, a little tangent. That might be weird in the video. I hope I don't have to edit this. I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to do it. I refuse. So back in here, we're in our compose.yaml. Let's paste in this guy here, and we're going to do just like we did on the Synology NAS. Back, 1, 2. I'm just hitting delete twice. Delete twice. YAML formatting is very important. If these are spaced out incorrectly, your file might not work, so just make sure everything is lining up the way that it should. And we're just getting this from the instructions here. Uncomment the next 4 lines to use it with a local zim file and temp.zim, but we don't want that folder. What we actually want is, what is this? Home, and then our username was Kano. So you'll just do the same. If you were following along with me, do the same thing, except instead of Kano, use your user. I don't know if it's Reptile or Sub-Zero or whatever. Just use that user. Slash, and then we want, where do we put this? App data, and then Kiwix, and then ZIM. So this is the folder that has all of our zim files. That is what we want to identify here before the colon. Other thing we want to do is let's change this port number. Let's make this port number 7000. And that is how we're going to be able to access Kiwix using a browser. So I'm going to hit Control X, and then I'll hit Y to save, and then I will hit Enter to finish saving. And if I type in ls, I've got that compose.yaml file here. If you were confused about where your stuff is, let's go into the zim folder. You can see the path right here. This tilde, so that is the path that we told the Docker Compose file where our zim files are at. This tilde right here, that's just shorthand for your home folder. So in this case, I'm user Kano, so this tilde is shorthand for home Kano. That's all that is if you're confused. But because this compose file might run as root, I'm not sure if it'll get confused or not, so that's why I actually wrote it out. But a lot of times you can actually just get away with typing in, oh man. Whoops, let me go back here, cd space period ls nano compose.yaml. A little trick that I would normally do is probably write it out like this. I would probably write in tilde / app data Kiwix. That's also a way that it can work. But I didn't do that because I want this to work for you guys. So we're all set. We have Docker Compose installed. We have our YAML file. We need to make sure that in here in terminal, we are in our same folder that has this YAML file. So if you're not there, just make sure you get there. You can type in cd space and then wherever it's at. So app data Kiwix, and you should be in there using that tilde. You'll be in your home folder. Wherever it is, just make sure that when you type in ls, you can see that compose.yaml file. And then I'm just going to type in a command docker space compose space up space -d. And that will launch this. I'm going to add in one little guy here, though. I'm going to type in space, ampersand, space, docker space compose space log space -f. And that will give us logs so we can see what's going on as it's installing. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we can see a couple of things here. Home, blah, blah, blah. The attribute version is obsolete. It will be ignored. Don't worry about that. But it looks like everything is good. So you can access at the local network. We're not going to access it on the local network, though. We're going to access it through our browser. So I'm going to hit Control-C, and that will get me out of the logs. All right, for some reason I had it twice, but we're out of the logs. You just need to know the IP address of your Ubuntu server, and that's how you would access it. So I'll type in hostname -I. And I can see that my IP address is right here, 192.168.86.83. I'm going to copy that, go into my browser. The port number that we used was 7,000, so I'll type in 7,000, and we should be good. And we're here. I've got the Encyclopedia of Nigerian Cinema, and you are now self-hosting Wikipedia on either your Synology NAS or my sort of confusingly put together tutorial on doing it on an Ubuntu server just via command line. So there you go. If you have any issues, I would recommend here. I'm not good tech support, so if you message me, I'm probably not going to know how to help you. But you can go to the Kiwix GitHub. People can help you out there. There's the self-hosted subreddit. People will make fun of you and then possibly help you out there. Tons of resources out there to get help on this stuff. And yeah, I mean, you might be asking yourself, what's the point of hosting Wikipedia? It's already online. And if the world went to all hell, what am I going to do with this? I don't really think that's the point of it. I think that there's a couple good uses for this. Mainly like if your internet ever goes out, maybe you're in a remote place or maybe you're living out of an RV, you always have access to Wikipedia and it's only 109 gigabytes. Yes, that's kind of a lot of space, but that kind of storage, you can get a 1 terabyte drive pretty cheap if you wanted it. So I would say that's not that big of a deal. And yeah, that's probably the biggest reason. Also, there's a lot of stuff on here. I mean, maybe you want to practice music. Like there's some music theory stuff here and you want to practice that while you're on the road or not around the internet or something like that. You can put that on a server. You can put this on like a little Raspberry Pi server and use it on a plane or something. However you want to do it, this is the way that you can self-host any of this documentation stuff. You can even self-host street maps. So if you're interested in maps, TechHut has a section about that. So I won't get too into it, but I believe you could just download this guy here, put that in that folder, and you would be good. Oh, I should mention this. Let's say you downloaded one of these guys, right? But then you want another one. Let's say I want MediaWiki. If I downloaded this guy, I'm going to use the Synology NAS as an example. Oh my God, why are you going to take so long? 46 minutes. Oh, 6.8 gigs is kind of big. Let's do the PHP manual. I'm going to download the PHP manual. Is that quicker? That's probably way quicker, right? Yeah, that's going to download very quickly. Let's go back to our Synology NAS. You can put that file in here. Going to wait for this guy to finish downloading. I'll open him up. So let's put this guy in here, the PHP Zim file. I'm going to overwrite. If I go back into my Kiwix library from my Synology NAS, that's actually not going to show up. So let me go here. This is where my Synology NAS is, and I can see I'm still just getting the Wikipedia top 100. So I believe all I have to do is, once I have that new file in here, I'll go back to Container Manager. Let me go to Project, and then just restart your server, and I believe anything that you added will show up. You just have to restart it. Refresh, and there you go. So that's how you would do that if you want to do it on Docker. Boy, there are like 1,000 Docker commands, so I don't want to get too in the weeds on this stuff, but you could type in, let me see here. I could type in, as long as I'm in the folder with my Docker Compose, I can type in Docker Compose restart, and then that should show up. That is how I could restart that. If I needed to upgrade this on Docker, I could type in Docker Compose pull, and then that will pull the latest version of Kiwix. But just bear in mind too, I believe these are not, they don't update your Zim files. So your Wikipedia stuff is going to be out of date in a year. You'll just have to remember in a year to go back and do that. People have programmed scripts and stuff if you're interested in doing that, but just know that whatever you download is what you have. It's not going to, I don't believe that it auto updates any of your stuff. So if you download all of Wikipedia, You're gonna have to re-download that, I think, if you want the latest version. So keep that in mind. There is so much to this. I hope this was at least a good starting point, and you're able to get it up and running, and now you know what questions you need to ask. But good luck on this, and thanks again for Tech Hut for posting that video. It was a lot of help.